Here we are. We're on our last day of holidays. I thought I'd just talk about it. Got a few more people comment, and I've seen it on the community boards and stuff like that. 2% on roofs. People are getting told they're allowed to use 2% chlorine on roofs by manufacturers. I got to say that's false. I have never had manufacturers write in writing that you're allowed to use 2% of chlorine on a roof. They simply won't write it in writing. If they write it in writing, text it in the comments down below. I'd like to see a copy of that permission because I have not had permission to put any chlorine whatsoever on roofs. I haven't had any confirmation on putting like a wet and forget type chemical on the roofs. Only permission that they write in their warranty is a sugar soap with a light broom. That's the only thing they write in their warranty, and it's the only thing they want to put in there to cover their ass. Because they say if somebody gets told verbally 2%, everybody thinks 2% is 2%. But unless it's in writing, don't believe what you hear, because it's got to be in writing to cover your ass. Say, right, yeah, I used 2%. But then they'll come back to you and say, well, you didn't use 2% on the roof, because how are you measuring that 2% unless you're batch mixing it, unless you know the strength of the chlorine before you've done it. So they'll try and get out of that any way possible. They're like, well, how long was it on the roof before you washed it off? They'll come after you any which way possible to get out of their warranty. Quite sure, you look into warranties, the paintwork is only warranted for 7 to 8 years. The steel itself is warranted for 25. Some companies go more than 25 years, but it would take, without washing, 25 years for the whole coating to come off a colourblind roof. So you got to watch what's floating around on the internet. I've dealt with quite a few roofing companies, quite a few people that wanted to get warranty claims done on their roofs. I've dealt with a guy that sells colourblind as a main job, and then he's like, well, all they've stated is to wash it down with sugar soap and brush it. So we did that to his roof. He wants to do it every year. I'm like, it's $900 to do this to your roof because it takes me 3 hours. He's like, well, that's what I want to do. All right. Because if you're downstreaming that roof every single year, you probably do it for $300, $400. If you're doing an initial clean on a really bad roof, you know, you're $1,000, $1,500, $1,700, depends on the size of the roof. So it all comes down to, we're at Coffs Harbour. It all comes down to what the customer wants. Like, if they've left that roof for 8 years without cleaning anything whatsoever, that roof is cactus. You go up there, you probably rub it down, you'll get a bit of oxidization on your finger. That roof is already gone. There's no warranty with that roof. The company will come out and rub their fingers of it. They won't even want to know about it. So if you clean that roof down with 8%, 9%, 10%, it doesn't matter anymore, because the roof has got no warranty, because they didn't take care of it from day dot. And a lot of people don't know this because they don't get told that in the fine print, because they don't read the fine print when they buy a house or they get a new roof put on. They just leave the roof until they see it's dirty in 3 to 4 years time. And like, oh, we need somebody to clean that. The roof is already cactus. How do I know this? I'm a painter by trade, so I'm 18 years in the painting game. I know what growth does to paint. So I've seen it. I've cleaned it for the last 2.5 years. I know exactly what it does. What are you doing, boss? Boss is here. So I just thought I'd try and clarify this for a couple of people, because I see it in the forums all the time. And people are like, oh, you can use 2%. Get it in writing. Like, we quoted a big commercial building that was built in December, and they wanted to do an annual wash to keep their warranty. So we come back to the manufacturers on that and said, hey, we can use a wet and forget, we can surface clean it, or we can use a light chlorine mix. They said no to every single one of them because they want you to use a broom and a sugar soap, something light to scrub it with to keep their warranty. And no one in their right mind is going to do that because, number one, the cost is going to be huge. The cost is going to be huge to the customer. The customer's not going to want to do it. They're just going to want to pay you $1 a square meter or 10 cents a foot to pressure wash it, get rid of the residue and move on. They're not going to get the warranty that they're chasing, or they're thinking they're going to get a 25-year warranty on that paintwork. They've got to read the fine print instead of looking at that 25 number. And that's the biggest thing what people look at. You go, oh yeah, a 25-year warranty on my roof. If you buy a dark roof, like a dark grey or a black, that roof is going to be, if you got enough sunlight, you're going to be cactus in 7 years' time. So I tell any one of my customers that want to respray their roof, or if they've got a black roof, I don't even put SH on black roofs because it stains. And that's going to be the biggest nemesis we got going forward. Is there is a lot of black roofs, there's a lot of black siding coming through, especially in Australia. I don't know so much about America, but we got a lot of black roofs coming through. So when you spray that with chlorine, you're going to get spots. They're going to eat the paintwork away. So you want to be really careful about that. You want to do your test patches to make sure you don't damage something, because the last thing you want to be done is get told that you have to replace that section of roof when it's not your fault. It's due to the black, so much tint in that paintwork. Because if you get black mixed up at a paint shop, there's about a litre of tint that goes into the tint paint. So that's a lot of colouring.
I found a cave.
What's that?
I found a cave.
A cave?
Right here.
Found a cave. Let's have a look. So that's the biggest thing I can say is you got to watch yourself. A lot of people will tell you 2%. Don't believe it. Go to the manufacturers, give them a call, get it in writing. Like we got this problem that we looked at with runoff.
Like that.
Oh, that's a nice little cave. You're gonna start digging it out a bit further.
I see that.
So we got this new thing called bioretention ponds, which has started coming up for the last 10 years. Bioretention strips, where the wastewater flows into these dams, and then those dams are going to fill up with about half a foot of water, which is normally 10,000, 40,000 litres of water before it goes into the storm water. These dams are made of about a metre of sand. So the idea is that for the filter all the contaminants before it goes into the storm water. But once again, we talked to the local council and they're like, no, you can't put chemicals down there. You can't put degreaser down there. You can't put anything down there that kills anything in the bioretention pond. I'm like, well, I'm putting biodegradable soaps to do the degreasing and all that with. No, you can't put that down there because you're not allowed to put anything down the drain. I'm like, well, what's the point of these bioretention ponds? Because the idea is to filter all the contaminants. It's good enough to filter all the grease and the grime and everything coming off the roads from all the cars leaking oil, everything that's going on. They're good enough to do that, but they're not good enough for us.
I found
to
another
use.
little cave over there.
That's a cool little cave. There's a lot of water in that cave. So once again, we approached the council with that, and they wouldn't put anything in writing saying that it was safe to put biodegradable chemicals down that drain because they're going into retention dams because they don't want anything to kill plants in there because the plants are designed to filter the sand and whatnot. So once again, they'll tell you one thing, but they won't write it down on a piece of paper to say that you're right to do it. So always check yourself. Don't believe what you see on the forums, because I've had enough of it. Everybody's like, you can choose 2% on a roof. Get it in writing before you do it, because the last thing you want to do is get sued because you put 2% on the roof and they're claiming for a warranty, and you're like, well, I got told, but you haven't got it in writing. So I'm telling you now, I have not seen use 2% on a roof in writing by a manufacturer. Your feet are red. Stop running on the sand. So I just...
It's because I've been climbing on rocks.
Okay, climbing on rocks. So I just thought I'd let everybody know before somebody gets in trouble with this. Because I've tried to ask councils, I've tried to ask manufacturers, I've rung up 3 or 4 manufacturers trying to get a solution. But no one wants to deal with it. And they're not going to put their hand up to say, right, we're going to replace the $10,000 roof if something goes wrong. They're just not going to do it. All they're going to do is minimise their damage, liabilities. So all you got to do is educate your customer, saying, right, your roof is oxidised. It normally happens within the first 4 to 5 years where the UV starts breaking down. Depends on how dirty it is. If it's got trees overhanging the house, if it's got direct sunlight, it's probably fine. So oxidization is, it starts to go chalky, and that's the UV layer breaking down, because they don't edge prime Colorbond anymore. They stopped doing that in the 2000s because it was cheaper. And Colorbond is a powder form of paint. It's not a liquid form, it's a powder form of paint. And when they bake it onto the surface, it's great. It's beautiful. But then it does break down. So I just want to let you know that. Let's carry on. Let's get going. Let's get some more roofs washed. And I'm leaving holidays. Catch you later. Bye-bye.